Okay, wrong window. Shit. All right. Welcome everyone. We are live. Welcome to Street Critique, episode number 13. Let me quickly introduce this format to you guys. So this is something we do every month. We give each other a challenge to go out and photograph something new. And then we look at our photos and see what everyone got. And we will try to give you some feedback, critiques. And usually it's just Jason and I, but we always try to give you some interesting guests. So today we have Sean Tucker here from the UK. How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Fresh
man.
from another live stream, right? You were streaming on IG, I think.
Yeah, man. It seems to be the era of live streams where we're all stuck at home. We're all just jumping on each other's stuff to have chats because we're lonely and bored.
Aren't you streaming almost daily at the moment?
No, only twice a week on Instagram for me. I'm hooking up with a guy named Jeffrey Sidoris, who's got an amazing podcast called Process Driven out there. We talk once a week anyway, just as mates. So we thought we'd stream it and take questions. And then I'm sort of bringing another photographer in every alternate week. So we had Joshua Jackson on Monday and Martin Rotz the week before, Gabriel Matola, just someone different to kind of mix it up and keep the conversation going. Yeah.
Yeah, how has life for you been during these crazy times? Does life goes on for you, or has something changed?
Yeah, I mean, it's like adjusting. Like little things have to adjust. I had a run of videos planned, which all had to get scrapped now, obviously. So I'm having to kind of work out, what I'm going to do going forward in this time when I'm stuck at home. So that's what had to get shifted around. We've had. Like all my talks and workshops, all those kind of events for the next 6 months have been canned. So trying to sort of adjust to that kind of thing as well, because that obviously makes an impact. But I mean, on the other side, I think like I'm strangely equipped for times like this. You're supposed to go out and, well, the government this side say you should go out once a day and exercise. You can do that. And I keep forgetting to even bother to do that. So I kind of go to the shops, once a week and come back, and my wife will be like, "You haven't been for a walk for like a week." I'm like, "Yeah, I just forgot." So obviously I'm all right sitting at home. So
yeah.
That's kind of the joke I've been making. I feel like I was made for this. Totally fine, just looking out the window and getting invested in a screen or something, or a book or whatever it is that I'm doing in the moment. So yeah, I'm still waiting for it to hit me and feel real. I guess that's strange.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was doing fine, but I'm starting to get very stressed and irritated not going out that much, or not as much as I used to. But I find it very interesting. Creatively, I think it forces people to do something else, right? They can't, nowadays you can't go outside and take, street photos of people on the street or crowds. If you're used to just going with the flow of the rush hour and taking, candidates that way. You can't really do that right now, so you have to adjust. And I see lots of people not taking pictures at all, which is also a little bit weird. But then I see other people who are really creative, and I feel like it's a good opportunity to try something new.
So you guys you guys are still in cities, right, where you can walk around and take your camera out. Are you making it a point to still get out and shoot it all, or are you just kind of working on other things now?
I mean, for me, I'm staying home really, just because I it's different parts of the world at the moment, but we're really being advised to only go out for essential things. And so if I go for a walk to the shops here, I will take my Ricoh with me in my pocket, but I don't turn it into a 2-hour-long photo mission, because I just don't think it's fair. And I'm getting this question a lot on live streams on Instagram as well. Should we be going out as street photographers? Do we have a responsibility to take photos and document this time? And certainly for this country, I'm recommending to leave that stuff to the professional journalists, those who've actually got commissions from newspapers and reputable news outlets, because I think we can all make that excuse to go out now and shoot, and then there's just crowds of us back on the street because we all say it's my responsibility to document this time. There would be, London has tens of thousands of street photographers. We'd all be claiming that we're the ones the rules don't apply to because we have to document this. I don't think it applies to most of us. I know it doesn't apply to me, so I haven't been shooting except for those 1 or 2 walks I've taken around the neighborhood and for exercise and just going to shops, but I don't stretch them out really.
Yeah,
I always try to tell people that don't go into the city just because you think you have to, because there are, as you say, for the journalists that will do that anyways. But just bringing the camera wherever you go and buy food or something like that, and document the neighborhood is super interesting. I think to see what everyone is doing in the neighborhood.
I did a little photo story the other week, because just in the houses around here, all the kids are, I don't know if it's a global thing, but all the kids are painting rainbows and sticking them in the windows to support the NHS. So walking around the neighborhood here, every window is just full of hand-drawn rainbows. And, you've got ones which are signed by, like George, age 2 or whatever. Some really cute stuff. So I did a little photo story on that just to do something.
That's amazing. That's actually happening in New York as well.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Not that I've gotten a chance to see it. I'm out in the woods in upstate New York, but I've heard the stories of people putting the rainbows on the windows. I wasn't sure where it came from, but it's a very cool idea to show support for people going through this.
Yeah, Nura in the chat is saying rainbows on the windows in Munich as well. I've seen that too here in Hamburg.
Yeah.
Far-reaching.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen Meyerowitz self-portraits?
Yes. Very cool.
It's so weird seeing him so private.
I know.
Yeah, that's super cool. Okay, let's talk about the theme. So we asked you guys to shoot photographs showing 2 different color temperatures, so warm light and cold light. And I think maybe we didn't really explain what we expect. And I feel like some people had troubles shooting this theme. Jason?
I mean, it's definitely a hard theme for sure. It wasn't easy. Barry Next was on our last live stream, and it was his idea. It was something that he said he had been diving deep into, experimenting with different color lights in photography. And so we threw it out there. We didn't really set parameters for people, and I think that it could be the downfall, and it's also the benefit, because we got a wide range of things. We got self-portraits, we got street photography, we kind of got like a little bit of a triptych going on, like people are just doing collages of photographs. And I think it's all kind of interesting to see how people interpret a challenge. So we could have probably rang it in, but I think what we got was also interesting.
Yeah, I was hoping that is something that people can do indoors, because some people are forced to be staying at home. And so I want to show you guys some examples from movies, actually. So there's this cool website called Shot Deck. I don't know if I can show these photos legally. Do you know if this is...
We'll find out.
I don't remember who told me about this website. I think we will be fine. Just to show you here, I don't remember which movie that was, but yeah, before we go into the submissions, quick disclaimer before I forget this. We do not pretend to be experts, nor do we say this is the best place to get photo critique. We offer you our personal feedback based on our own experience and education. If you don't want that, please don't submit your work. We learned that the hard way.
Right, yeah.
Every stream, we learn it again.
And we have 2 basic, very simple rules. All submissions must be taken during the month of the running theme. So no photos from the archive. This is really for us to challenge ourselves, so don't cheat, and 1 submission per person. Now this time, because we don't actually get that many submissions as usual, yesterday I was streaming on Twitch, preparing this stream, and I was saying to my Twitch viewers that feel free to upload 2 photos if you have to, because we need more. But we have less than usual. And Jason, do you want to start maybe showing your photos? And
yeah, sure, why not? I definitely struggled with this. I had some ideas in my mind, and I just kind of photographed around a bit. The environment that I am in right now, as you guys can see, it's kind of like a wooded, kind of like heavy, kind of oak environment. So everywhere I went into outside, it's like we're in the woods, so it's very foggy and constantly cloudy and raining over here. So we always get this blue light outside, but as soon as you pass through into these spaces, the light immediately turns warm because all the windowsills are surrounded by this wood.
Mm.
So on this property, they have a bunch of little houses that are themed, and this is like one of the Hobbit houses.
Wow.
And now that I'm looking at this, the blue isn't coming through as strong as it did, but if you see in the next photo, you can see it's blue light outside, where the two meet.
Yeah.
It's like all this kind of like cavernous thing, which was like really nice. So I was trying to figure out ways how to like emphasize those colors by turning the saturation up. And this, I could have probably edited this a little bit better to make that blue light come through there in the front. But everything on the inside is warm and everything outside has been cold the entire time that I'm here. So I did a kind of story because I felt like that was like almost like the epitome of how I feel these days with the quarantine. You know what I mean? Outside is this very sadness, and we're kind of striving to create these like warmer spaces inside that feel a little more comfortable in like homes and nests and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm in this nesting process of getting more comfortable because this place isn't really my home, but I have to make it feel that way. So I don't know. I thought this was like a good way to represent that from this cold light meeting this warm environment. Yeah, so I needed multiple photos to convey that. I thought about doing the self-portrait thing and setting up some artificial lights, but I've never been the person that wanted to take photos of myself. I always see photographers who do that, and I'm so envious of people who can play it off or like love their bodies enough to strip down naked and go do that. And I haven't found that moment of inspiration yet for myself. So this is what I did instead.
Yeah, people are saying amazing place and where's Gandalf?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this small house is actually called the Hobbit House. It was built to make it look that way. Yeah, it's a pretty cool space.
But
this is a side.
So this is part of the property, but you're not streaming from this place right now, right?
Yeah, I'm streaming from inside. Well, there's multiple houses here. This is the Hobbit House. I'm in a different part of the property, to the north house, and I'm in the library right now streaming. I'm still up here. I've been up here for 7 weeks now. I haven't been to Manhattan for 7 weeks, so that's kind of why my posting and everything has gone a little bit cold. I'm not used to be. I'm a city kid through and through, born and raised, and as soon as you take me out of a city, I don't know what to do with photography. I get a little antsy. So. But it's exposing my weaknesses, so that's probably something I need to work on. I've actually started multiple YouTube episodes, like videos to put online about still life, and I scrapped every single one of them. I can't bring myself to put it out. So yeah, I just got to keep working on it. I keep finding people that inspire me and trying to recreate the shots and make a video out of it. But I got an interesting idea that's coming out that I think should be hilarious, and it's very appropriate for the quarantine.
Cool.
Yeah. So this was my attempt at warm cool lights.
That last one is really great. I love it. I think, and it is you have got that warm and cool. That the light on the end of the bed in particular is really nice and cold. But because you've got that sunlight bouncing off warm wood at the top, it's a really nice juxtaposition. I love it. I think that and the one with the like looking straight to the hole in the ceiling, both of those two are cool. Those stand out to me. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was interesting because the last one, that's actually my girlfriend sleeping in the bed with my dog hopping up. It was blue light outside, as you can see. There's another window to the left there. And as soon as it passed through the curtains and hit that wood, it went warm. And then as it hits the bed, it's cold again. So I was like, this is a very interesting scene. So, yeah. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice. I'm very lucky to be here, to be honest. Being in the city right now is a little difficult. So, for sure, I'm worried I might not have any self-discipline when I have to go back to normal life, though. I've literally brought 5 pairs of sweatpants up here with me. I don't even own a pair of jeans right now, which is kind of funny.
Hello. Yes. Okay, now. Sorry, guys. Yep. Mic wasn't working. Thanks for pointing that out. I also really struggled with this theme. I only shot photos indoors. And, but I wanted to do it indoors just because it will be a challenge.
I love how abstract you went with this.
Yeah, but I have to admit, the one that looks the most abstract and I think probably coolest is this one. This is from my archive. Yeah. This is a very old photo. This is from my first apartment. I just wanted to show it because it's very simple. On the right is my room being lit by my laptop. And on the left, another room lit by warm light. And just went crazy with the contrast slider. So I couldn't recreate this in my apartment. I think this will be my pick. This is the same scene that I showed you earlier. This is, sunset behind me and then the light bouncing back from the other side. Actually, you know what? A little tip for everyone wanting to recreate this kind of stuff. The dehaze slider in Lightroom actually makes the light very bluish and definitely helps.
Interesting.
And then I tried experimenting with my softbox here. I have this super warm lamp here. And I couldn't really find a subject. I just used my chair and then I thought, this looks kind of cool. I mean, it's very abstract.
Oh, interesting. I get it now. I didn't understand what I was looking. I could understand that it was leather. There was a texture, but I didn't know that it was the top of that chair.
And obviously the light was white, not blue, but using the dehaze slider and the white balance and all that stuff. Then I put my GR on it, but looked kind of geeky.
It's like a product shot, man. You could offer that to them, I think.
Great.
No, but it is.
It's on top of the world.
Yeah. I mean, it is all very basic stuff, and I didn't know that, I could create, cool abstract stuff like that. So definitely it was fun. But I would probably prefer to capture something more interesting. Like, I expected people to go outside and shoot through windows and stuff like that. But for me, here where I live, there are not many cool windows.
I dig it. I like the style. It's unusual to see you shoot like this, and I actually really enjoy seeing it. It's very poppy and colorful. Nice. Especially the hand one. It's kind of funny. It's like worst case scenario, like what everybody thought the apocalypse would be like, but you're just like reaching for a candy bar or something.
Or it's that scene in the car from Titanic. So it's one of them. That's great, man. Yeah. It's really cool.
Okay. So here we have our best offs. Usually we pick 5. This time we have 6. And honestly, it was very hard just picking photos that actually show a color contrast between warm and cold light. So I'm just going to open the first one up. This definitely has warm light and cold light. It's also a very cute scene, like the reflection. Like it.
I dig this. I dig this photo because, like you brought up, it's funny.
Jason?
Like cold light is constantly
sorry, Jason?
used.
Can you start again? Because I think you were cut out.
Oh, sorry. I was saying I like this because you brought up this when you brought up the cinema stills earlier. It made me think about, obviously cold lights are constantly used to convey like a feeling of like unrest or sadness or something like that. They always play with those type of lighting scenarios in an apartment to convey whether a family's happy or somebody's mood in their household is like a little bit sad. Like there's what's that old film, Narcs, where they do that a lot. The household goes from being a very warm, happy place to a very cold place, and seeing this woman look through it, a very warm environment, kind of longingly, but she's like obviously on the streets in this coldness. I think this was like really cool and very cinematic because it conveys that outside feeling of desperation and that inside feeling of like warmth. I dig it.
Yeah, it's like the idea of what do they call it? Threshold spaces. So like that kind of in between world where you've either got someone looking into a warm store but sort of wrapping their arms around them because maybe they feel cold, maybe they weren't, but like it looks like there's like temperature and a bit of feeling in the shot because you've got these two sides colliding with a warm interior and a cool outdoors, not just colors, but maybe there's more going on as well, which is really. And the hat like the hat's great for me because that speaks more to, I'm kind of hugging myself because I'm cold. I've got a beanie on. I'm looking into warmth, and I'm out here in the cold. It kind of adds something to it. It's really nice.
Yeah. So good execution.
Next one, I think Jason selected this, and I said to him, "Why did you do that? This is cheating." But then he said he appreciated the creativity, or what did you say?
Yeah. I guess I said it earlier too that we didn't really give people boundaries. Yeah. And in my mind, in order to convey warm and cool, I originally thought about photographing the exact same spaces at different times of day to convey that, and then putting it together somehow. And when I saw this, I thought, I dig the way that they put this together because they look to be maybe the same environments, but these images and this composition fits together very nicely to convey this space. So I just thought it was a cool way to convey warm and cool lights. Yeah. We didn't say you couldn't do it. We also didn't say you couldn't use the dehazer.
Yep.
So.
Fair enough. We forgot to mention this is the first one was from Andrew and the second one is from Radu. He's in the chat and he says he didn't understood the challenge or he understood it wrong. No, it's fine. You definitely captured warm light and cold light, but we imagined we thought about having the light in one frame, which is, I think, was the challenge for most people, just to find both light temperatures. Yeah.
That sort of diptych idea is something a lot of people are doing on Instagram at the moment that I'm really appreciating, though. The kind of either combining two shots that have got complementary colors in them, or even a color theme, or something that sort of sits opposite to each other. There's a guy, friend of mine, Brandon Wong, who what's his? I think it's I can't remember his handle on Instagram, but if you look up Brandon Wong, he's got some fantastic shots, and he did a series when he was over I believe he was over in China recently, where he was doing these diptychs together, and he's got an incredible eye for color detail like that. And I think it might have missed the challenge you were after, but I really like this idea of combining two shots. Well, the one on its own might be a bit weak or abstract or not that interesting, but when you put it with something else, it pops like crazy. It's a cool idea. Yeah.
I saw in the chat people asking where are Sean's photos. The thing is, I asked him a few days ago if he wanted to join, so it wouldn't be a little bit unfair to expect he participating.
Sorry, I didn't have time to shoot. My bad.
And also,
I'm trying to do color contrast in my lights. See, I've got like cooler light here and warm light. This is my
such a master. You can do it live.
I've got a blue
screenshot it.
Jumper.
Yeah. I mean, you're wearing blue, I think, and then the background it looks yellow.
I mean, these are warm portraits. I mean, it's all in the shot. I brought it live, man. I brought it live.
Also, the selections are all done by Jason and I. So if you want to blame someone, it wasn't Sean. Okay.
Oh, someone's just posted. Mr. Brandon Wong is exactly right. At Mr. Brandon Wong. Go check out his stuff. He's got some very, very cool stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Next is from Ben Murray. Yeah, he actually submitted, I think, one more because I asked for it. Yeah, I really like this one when I saw it. It's very effective. I mean, it jumps to you when you see it as a thumbnail. I like the two layers of which looks like a bus, probably a bus. And then I'm trying to understand where the bus is behind the station. Maybe we have some umbrellas.
It looks like it looks like a little bus stop, and you're sort of shooting into it. So you've got bus stop below, second story of the bus above.
Okay, got it. I couldn't understand that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it works.
Nice execution.
what's great is like just below that little sign 23 Cribs Causeway, you've got that little hint of blue at the bottom, which I think actually helps you work out what's going on, because otherwise it does look like two separate shots sandwiched together. But looking at that little crack at the bottom shows you there's the bottom floor, so it kind of ties it together nicely. I think it works well.
Yeah.
In fact, 87. Oh yeah, I might know where that is. Do I?
Oh, is it London?
It could be. It's maybe Cribs Causeway. I'm not sure. Maybe not.
I just realized there's someone putting their hand on the window. I didn't even see that.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Nick Turpin's On the Night Bus series, this really reminds me of that stuff. And I love how when you shoot like this, the condensation on the windows creates like a really painterly quality for the people sitting behind it. So it obscures detail and kind of makes it about shape and light wrapping around, which just looks so. You can shoot that all day and it'll look beautiful. It's great. It's really cool.
Cool. Okay, let's move on. Next is from Andre. Jason, you probably picked this one. I mean, this definitely works. We have blue light and very warm light. Explain yourself,
I think obviously it delivers on the warm and cool premise on the theme perfectly. At first, when I saw the image, I was like, "Oh, this is definitely edited," and then I actually paid attention to the light where that's coming from. I think it, like I said, it delivers on it. I could critique this a little bit. It feels a little claustrophobic. I feel like the photo could breathe a little bit better if they just took a couple of steps back to get the rest of that puddle in. But other than that, they took the theme and nailed it. I probably would have walked right by the scene and not photographed it, because I don't really see color. I don't photograph at night either. So as soon as I saw this, I thought this was very cool.
Yeah.
I like the shot, but the question I've got with this is like, because what's drawing my eye is really interesting is the highlights on the outskirts of the puddles down at the bottom there. And I wonder if, I mean, this shot's great as it is, but I wonder if there would be some cool shots to be had if you were just focusing in a little more abstractly on the ground and picking up like abstract shapes and highlights with those two contrasting colors without the context, or maybe just the context of a sign in the background. So you're trying to work out what's going on, because I mean, as it is, it's great, but it is sort of a dark and alleyway, and you can see that color contrast, and also even incorporating those like the shape. So you'd have the shape of the bricks, the two colors of highlights wrapping around. And even if you focused on those bricks and sort of had a slightly longer focal length, you could have had whatever was reflected through that puddle. Really nice abstract shot in there as well to be had.
Yeah, absolutely. And the composition of it, as you said, it draws your eye to that bottom right corner. And I think that's kind of why I was saying if you pull back a little bit, then that element wouldn't be there. Because every time you look at that orange, your eye gets pulled down because that is almost the brightest part of the frame. So, But yeah, focusing on the ground would be definitely a really good way to see what I mean, I'm sure they shot this area for you. I'd like to see some more images from this moment.
Yeah, the puddle was sticking out to me as well. I was like, oh, this is so cool that you can see both light temperatures reflecting in the puddle. Yeah. I mean, if you just sort of cover that top half of the frame and just look at the bottom, that's it, and then maybe take out the actual signage. Yeah. That's a really interesting image, It's a cool graphic shot on its own. Agree. Yo, Project Roman is in the house. Your brother is watching.
Oh, nice.
So
guess he knows how to use Twitch. I still can't find the Twitch chat. I don't know how to use.
Just open the link on YouTube on the post.
Okay. Well, I'm in Twitch. I just can't find the chat.
Oh, really? If you go to my channel, it should just play the stream.
Okay.
And then you see the chat on the right.
Gotcha.
Okay, next one is from Andrea Guslorini. I really like this one because it feels like it is one scene I don't really know what I'm looking at. It's probably a window reflection. Maybe even some reflective surface behind the window. And I like the repetition of the palm trees below, and then we have the same scene, kind of the same scene again on the top, but totally different light and color temperature. So I thought it was a very clever way to capture that.
When I saw it, I thought it was a double exposure, but I could be wrong.
It looks like that bottom section is floating glass. Can you see that strut only goes halfway up the glass?
Yeah.
So it might be like sort of what you usually put on the outside of a swimming pool to separate it from the street or something. And that glass at the bottom is reflecting the sunset behind. And then over the top, you're looking at the real world because it's in focus at the top. And you're looking past at the blue hour at the back. I think that's what's going on. Looks like it.
Yeah.
Because the reason you're seeing the poles go through both is obviously what's reflecting is still glass. So you can still see the poles in real life going behind that glass. It's great, man. It's really cool.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kudos for finding this. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on a little bit faster now because these are
we're taking
the best of.
A lot of time in the best of.
Exactly,
We're supposed to graze these.
Yeah. I mean, warm and cold light.
Another solid execution of the theme.
Which is probably easier to do in a big city with lots of neon lights. But yeah, I like it. Yeah, moving on.
Okay, so we should go to the ones that we can actually critique.
Oh, this was the last one, yeah. Okay, so this time, as I said in the beginning, usually we pick out photos we're going to critique, and it looks like a lot, and we probably will spend too much time if we are not careful. We will just go through them because most of them, unfortunately, fail the criteria for the theme. But maybe we can explain why or how it could work otherwise. So, yeah, I see warm and cold light. So why isn't this in the best of? That's
well.
Yeah.
I mean, for lack of I guess we could say there's a bit of intention that it's lacking here. This could use. I'm not really sure where to look, and because there's just bright orange orbs of light, my eyes go directly there. But it's not particularly interesting as a subject. This photo needs some other element or something going on that makes it make sense or makes you want to look at it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I mean, there could have been something to do here because the top has got that orange light coming through the trees at the top there. So that could have been sort of brought out a bit. And then whatever's in that middle or that second band down of blue light, that looks like it might be a television reflecting inside, like off the glass or something with that cooler light. Maybe if you just move the composition a bit, you could have been more intentional about what goes in that middle band that's reflecting more than sort of a slightly random door and drawers and stuff. Put something in there. And then that next band down of the orange lights, that's interesting on its own, I think. And you're almost kind of like alternating bands of reflection, warm, cool. I think then that's great. But that second band down needs to have something else in it or something more deliberate in it. You're right. And then the top maybe need to be brought out a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely potential here. Next we have Oliver B, a camera product shot.
Yeah, it's a nice shot. There's not much to critique about this. This is a very clean, cool shot. It just, for the challenge, it didn't seem like it needed to be in the best of.
The only thing about I'd always say with a shot like this, maybe because my eye goes straight to that blown out sort of paper on the desk or whatever that is, the white. This done better with put it on a darker, cleaner background or less in the back of the shot and just light that thing. As you're lighting it, to within an inch of its life, warm and cool at either side and simplify that background out. I think it'd be nice. And maybe give us a bit more of the front maybe. But otherwise it's cool, yeah. The colors are nice.
Yeah. Dachi Rasmussen. There's probably some cold light coming from the laptop and the candlelight. So we have two elements that definitely work. It's a spooky atmosphere.
Definitely.
I don't know how to
compositionally, there's not much going on in terms of composition in this frame. I think they could have either gotten a portrait out of this moment, which would have been cool. I'm not sure. I guess that blue light is coming from the laptop there, and the warm light where that meets is cool. But I would have just pushed in on the subject a little bit more, because this frame is, we don't need to see the keyboards, we don't need to see the cell phones down on the table. It's all kind of useless information, and I think you need to focus more on like what's in the frame instead of having all this stuff going on.
I mean, right here, there's a cool shot to be had of someone working late at night, maybe. If you drop that camera down and had them maybe facing the screen, candle in the background, so they've got front lit face, back lit with the candle light, something sort of sandwiching them like that might be cool. I like the fact that it's a hand, but you're right, it's got to get cleaned out and shoved over to a little bit more to give a bit more space. So clean out the distractions, and if you just want that hand, just make it that hand on the table. Somehow, or shoulder hand or something. Maybe just dropping it down a little bit. Yeah,
not much to add here. I agree, and I like how the two different light temperatures are hitting the elbow, and for the hand there's not much. We don't see much of the blue light, so I would love to see.
This would have even been a good moment for some, like, a little bit of still life of some hand movements, something a little more abstract, because you can see the blue light is on the nails and the warm light's on the skin. Would have been kind of cool just to have some cool, like, abstract poses going on there.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Jerry Adam, he is a black and white shooter, so this must have been hard for him.
This must have hurt.
Yeah, that's... What I noticed lots of our submissions they have definitely blue color in it, like objects that have blue color naturally, and then there's some warm light coming. But I think the purpose of the theme was to find a specific type of light quality, and I guess you can see a contrast between warm and cold. Is it coming from light source though, or from some processing?
I mean, I honestly, this clearly is a sunset, right? So you're seeing like the warmth coming from the sun going down and the cool rolling in. I think it's a solid composition. I'm not mad at this frame. I just wish there was a better gesture happening here. I don't think the gesture of this moment is strong enough. We could have waited around for some more subjects. Maybe somebody lifting their hands up or looking over the railing, but as it is right now, there's no real interaction going on with the subject that is in the frame.
Yeah, I like how subtle the color difference is, though. It does feel like, it feels like maybe you've done some toning and sort of shifting that cooler to a bit of cyan. But that's a movie trick that really works. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. And what really stands out, you're right, like, There's little things that could have been done, maybe hanging around for longer if you could have to find a person in a better position doing a better thing. But I really like the kind of rim light of that sun on the subject against the cooler background. That's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Good job, Jerry, shooting color. He's saying I don't know what to do when shooting color. Sorry. Yeah. This looks like
one.
Daylight only.
Yeah. I mean, the wood's coming through and then the blue, but I don't know if this really executes on the theme. It's a blue shirt and some warm wood, so the colors do come off and convey, but
It's interesting to look at. I mean, it's like Nick Turpin's series, right? That there's condensation going on, which can look very cool. Has some painterly quality. So it's nice, but unfortunately, I would say it doesn't fit the theme. Next is from Arco Mean or Philippe. Oh yeah, cold light doesn't necessarily mean blue light. It can also be green light.
LED.
Yeah, like light that is the opposite of what we think of warm, like yellow and red. Yeah. What's the story here?
Yeah.
Because the light is there. There's some warm light and some cold light. The effect is cool of the long exposure. For me, I miss some a stronger subject here.
I think when I see photos like this, sometimes I think the best advice I could offer someone when they're out shooting is to ask yourself why you're taking the photo sometimes. You know, it's an interesting technique. The shutter speed is obviously dragging, so we're getting that like car movement that's blurred. But what is it that we're trying to convey in this image is something that you have to kind of ask yourself, because other than what we're seeing, it doesn't read as anything else. If there was somebody out there by themselves wearing a mask, pumping their gas, and you wanted to feel a little desolate, we understand that. But right now, we're not really sure why this photo exists yet, until you find a reason to make it exist.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it could be. I mean, it's almost two things, isn't it? There could be a nice scene going on at that garage, then shoot the scene at the garage and shoot it clean, or if it's about the light, then move along somewhere where you've got a nice abstract background with some of that greenish light, so that when the red comes past, you've got a more graphical thing going on. But it's almost two things in one. You're shooting the scene, but you don't want us to care about it because you're covering most of it. But there's effects on light which to me kind of jar with how busy and sharp the background is. So it's sort of got two things going on. But maybe you could have walked down the street like 50 meters and found a cleaner, more abstract background and done the same thing, and it would have worked as a graphical piece.
Agreed. Or just drag the shutter a little bit longer and we wouldn't have seen this car. We could have still focused on your background, and instead we would have just gotten the red line going through in more of the background, because that car is a big distraction.
Because I could imagine, for example, say that car's not there at all. Say you've got like a beautiful red car that's pulled up to that front pump. Then you've got like the greenish light in the background. You've got a red pop of light on the Texaco sign and a beautiful car in sharp contrast. The guy standing there filling up. That would be a shot that works well as a scene or as a tableau. That would also be fine. But yeah, it's sort of too much of two things, and yeah, a little bit confused.
Yeah.
Or maybe the red light from the car was the warm light element.
I mean, you can see the building on the right. It's got some nice texture to it. The windows pop with that Texaco sign. I like the environment. There's a mood to it. There's definitely a vibe, but this car it really takes away from the moment.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. J Barrington.
1989. This is red colors with some, I guess there's a fade of warm to blue from the window light in the corner there, but I don't know if this really delivers on the theme.
It's very subtle.
Correct me. It looks like it might have been done in post as well, because it's a really quick. It's a really quick fade. I don't know if light changes color that fast. I might be wrong. Yeah. But it'd be interesting to know if he actually did that in post, or if that's how it looked.
Yeah.
It looks like maybe a cool gradient drag left to right.
Yeah. But I mean, you're getting some really cool window light here. If you want to do something that's still life, I would focus on using that light and put some interesting subjects there. Yeah. Not a fan of the photos are cool, but I wouldn't necessarily photograph them. I'd use that light for something else.
Yeah, it's a cool shape. Pedro Rodriguez.
I love her expression, but it's only warm light.
Yeah, it's a cool street portrait, but it's...
Yeah, she's got great glasses on.
Okay, we will move on, because I can see us spending otherwise too much time. By the way...
Samuel, you submitted something else.
It's not mine. So this one is from... Can say EL. I think the right side looks like a natural light coming through the window and maybe hitting some specific surface that reflects in a different color. It doesn't look artificial. the left side feels also very feels. I don't know if that is done in post or occurred naturally, but I mean, just looking at the colors, it's interesting. It's kind of beautiful. Don't know.
Yeah, it feels like a post production job, doesn't it? Like playing with something like I don't know if you've ever played with the Mextures app or something like that, where you're sort of overlaying colors and textures and light leaks. Because I can't work out how light's leaking in that left side, because it doesn't seem to affect the rest of the scene. It's always things like that sort of stop me at an image like this. The first thing you do is look and go, oh, that's interesting. The colors, but then you go like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know how. You've got to motivate the light. Like, if you're going to add light to something, it's got to make sense in some level about where it's coming from, that you're not sort of creating it from scratch and none of the rest of the scene supports what you're trying to do. It's like people who add lens flares to everything, and yet it's a cloudy day and there's a lens flare. It's like, come on, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So to me, it feels like one of those. It feels like you're trying to do a thing on top of a fairly ordinary photograph to sort of zhuzh it up, but it's not really selling it to me. I don't understand how that's possible. What I'm looking at,
Yeah. Okay, I think we can move on to the next one. Luke Oakes. Yeah. To me, this is again one light source. Yeah, the sky is blue, but it's would we say that a blue sky can count as a light source?
Well, I mean, I guess if
it would bounce light off from this, I mean, if we would see the blue reflecting somewhere, maybe. But for me, this looks very one-sided in terms of light.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
I like something about it. I do like. I mean, not for this brief, obviously, but I'd love to see more shots of shadows of laundry on that fence. But just maybe the fence on its own. I think there's a cool idea in there. It's probably not the brief, but there's something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wu Yarong. What's happening here?
There's a
creative
camera lens in a light.
Yeah. It's from a lamp that is probably.
I've never seen this technique before.
Yeah. I mean, I give him or her bonus points.
Is that a Leica? Love it.
Right, yeah. The Voigtlander lens, probably. I don't know. I see one warm light. I mean, it's creative.
Yeah. I want to see what the lens is seeing through that Leica, to be honest. That's more interesting to me. Like, I don't know why you would put these two together like that, but
yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Another lamp. I have to say, I have a slight suspicion this might be photoshopped.
Photoshop.
Because the light source
or someone takes their interior decorating very seriously.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Because for the light to it's either the wall is painted.
Yeah.
Or the light is.
That's what I'm assuming.
That's probably the most reasonable.
But it still doesn't make sense that light would come out of this cover pink the way we're seeing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit monochromatic at the bottom, isn't it? There's no separate light. Like that light on the actual, we're assuming that light at the bottom is actually a white stand or something. It should be yellowish from the light, not red.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think what they've done is they've masked out the lampshade and then split it top and bottom and gradient map to blue and red at the bottom. I think if you're going to do this, it's fine. But I think then also your stand, so the stand is still a natural color against monochromatic walls, that you don't turn the stand itself into red as well, because it doesn't really visually work. It doesn't sell it quite as well.
Yeah, the
my
stands. yeah, what is the opposite of selling an idea?
Yeah.
Not selling
if
it.
you would,
Yeah.
if you would have masked out the stand, maybe we wouldn't even guess that this is Photoshop. But it feels suspicious because of the stand. Yeah.
And honestly, also the light at the top, it's just the blue's a little too monochromatic. So when like tungsten light hits blue, it's not blue. It kind of it would sort of be a little bit muddier in that top piece if you were trying to sell it as realistic. What you maybe do is if you say, I don't know how you're doing this, but if you're using a gradient map, for example, you create black through blue to white, but you'd add the top towards your white. You just add a yellow and dial that slider in two, so it would go, blacks through blues mostly to white towards the yellow towards the highlights, and then the whites at the top would have kind of sold that top piece a bit better.
Yeah.
And the same for the bottom, sort of black through reds, through slightly yellow, through to white as well, and then mask out that stand.
Sounds like a lot of work, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the masking takes the time. Actually, the gradient maps wouldn't take too long. It's pretty quick. But it's it's just those little extra steps. Because I'm assuming you wanted us to look at this and not think Photoshop straight away. Those little extra things would really hide the moves you've made and sell the shot. Yeah.
Maybe we can do a challenge someday where we ask people to Photoshop their photos. And
try to trick us. Yeah,
try to trick us.
That's fun.
Yeah,
that would actually be really fun, like stamping in people that weren't in the frame and stuff like that.
Yeah,
make like the perfect street scene.
Composites is a real skill, man. That's like high level, because you're having to, anything you bring into the frame or take out, the lighting has to match, is the giveaway, and the color tones and the temperatures. It's a lot that goes. When we used to shoot composites and shoot a background and then a subject to match in, you'd have the background first before you got in the studio to shoot the subject, because you had to light the subject from exactly the same angle with the same light softness or hardness and color to sell putting them together. Otherwise, it looks ridiculous, and you often can't tell why. It just, something about it jars and doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. Next one is from Jet Smith. Warm and Cold Hate is the title.
Well, I mean,
Blue origin. The color is there.
It's a little bit of a busy shot otherwise. I think it needed to be cleaned up. Like, I wonder if you didn't shoot the front entrance way and you only shot over to the side where it was like color, wall, color, or you maybe moved over and just focused on a palm tree silhouette, just one, and had like orange underneath, palm tree silhouette against the wall, blue at the top, because at the moment it's just a bit cluttered and too many layers and stuff. I'm looking at what's going on, the shadows on the floor. There's kind of a bit too much going on for me. But yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Agree to that.
It's a lot. There's a lot going on. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Mark Nunes. Yeah, I mean, we have again a blue sky and then some clouds that are being hit by the setting sun or rising sun. But I actually like the color contrast here. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful shot. I love it, and I love the reflected highlight on the wall on the right. I think it's beautiful. A beautiful shot.
Add some very nice dimension to it. If that wasn't there, it'd be flat, but that really helps.
And also, this is one of those examples where, like, that feels like, I'm sure you did a little bit in post, but it feels very natural still to me, and I really like that. It does feel like I could stand there on a beautiful evening, and that's what it would have looked like. You know?
For sure. I would only turn down the blues a little bit. They're starting to like get a little neon coming through there, but other than that, it's like it's perfect. It's a great photo.
Yeah. Cool. Next from Dane Frias.
Tell they're inspired by Todd Hito, right? This almost has the vibe of it, but the composition's not quite there, and that feeling, the emotional content isn't there either, because it's not fully focused on the house. There's no vibe coming from this home and the lights here. It almost feels like, I mean, it's hard to even tell that there's a light on. It feels very strange, as if they painted it on or something like that.
It would be cool to see, things on the grass, maybe something that someone left, so that we can make up our story, who's living there. But now it feels like, cool light and yeah. I mean, it's a cool scene for something more, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, little compositional things. I would have either got in front of that pathway a bit more, so it was square down the line. Being slightly off throws me a little bit, or more square to the house. The angle's like there's just a slight angle that doesn't do anything extra for it. So either hit it square or get around and throw more of an angle on purpose, and then just frame it down and get that line out the top, the electrical line or whatever it is, telephone line, and then maybe. It just feels like there could be something here. I don't know, like if you were standing there, it just feels also like a little bit flat. Like there could have been a bit more contrast in it and a bit more punch. It's almost like you've tried to maybe lift the shadows or because it was low light or something. But with shots like this, I always think like it is night, so we're not going to see in the deepest shadows. So pull them down, let it fall dark, and give us just it like lit windows and like the hints of spidery trees behind. Being the main focal point, and pull everything else down. Like pull the.
Is that why you think the photos are doing this really weird effect? Where the windows are doing this weird effect because they probably overexpose it with the time lapse or something like that. With the long shutter, because they just feel blank. There's no life inside those windows, and I think that's the difference between the Todd Hito photo and this is that there is a life inside, and that's the main focus of the image. Whereas this feels like those windows feel completely soulless right now. And I think maybe if they were more the attention in this photo, then that would have read. Yeah,
there's a guy on Instagram who does beautiful stuff in Sweden, Oslo. I think maybe not Ausland, Auslund, and he's got. But he's shooting at nighttime. But he's sort of hang on, where's that? He's shooting at nighttime, but it is like he's giving you window. But then he's giving you, or like windows of light, and then he's pulling everything else dark to sort of focus you in. And I wonder if there was a version of this shot to be had like that, where you've got something that's sort of, light's being framed by darkness instead of bringing everything up flat. So I did a terrible job of showing you that. Like, I just realized that. But you get the idea. Like Auslund, if you want to go check him out on Instagram. Like really, really nice. Maybe someone can type it in the chat there. But if you go check him out, like. Stuff like this, and he's a great guy as well to look at for color contrast, like different colors and complementing each other and contrasting, like really cool stuff,
Yeah, gorgeous. Okay.
Don't be afraid of the shadows, man. Pull them in.
Okay, next from Abby Rose. She's also watching in the chat. And I already saw her photos yesterday and asked her to submit more if she wants to. I guess I see warm light in the reflection, but I'm curious to know why it looks warm. The sky.
Well, you see the
doesn't
sun,
suggest a sunset, but it could be.
Well, in one building we're looking directly at the sun, right? So you're getting that orange. It doesn't look like the sun is setting at all in this environment. This looks like midday or something like that, or maybe.
She's saying that. She's saying the building is gold and reflective, so maybe the glass is golden color.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice frame.
Yeah. Okay. I think there are more of hers submitted. We will see. Matthew Cole Ho. Nice gradients. I like the shift from blue to what looks like purplish. What am I looking here on the ground? Looks like ice, maybe snow. Like very dirty snow.
Yeah, like dirty snow.
But I would say we have some warm and cold light. Does this count as light?
I don't know. It doesn't really read as that. This is just, it's going from like a magenta to a blue. Maybe the sun's setting here, but I don't see a strong enough contrast in warm and cool light. It all kind of just blends together. I like the photo. I like the composition. I almost like there's something there that reminds me of I forget who the photographer is. I can't remember what it was. But I mean, this photo feels like it's almost there. There's something very interesting about it that I wish this repetitive lights that are in the background kind of like were lined up just a little bit better to bring this all together. There's something about that last one being separated all the way on the right and this giant chunk of ice in the middle there that breaks it up a bit for me. And it doesn't feel like the wasteland that it should be in a sense. I kind of want to see this. I want to see more photos of this area. It makes me curious of what this is and what's going on though. So I guess it's a pretty cool photo.
Yeah. I want to see what's behind the snow, or I want to stand up and see what else is there.
It does give you that feeling, right? You do want to stand up.
I don't know. Anything to add, or should we move on?
Yeah, I'd agree there. I think like there might be something. I mean, the fact that it's dirty snow puts me off a little bit because it sort of makes for a. I mean, maybe that's what you want, that kind of grungy foreground. And it does look like really otherworldly, which is quite cool. But maybe just like a slight straighten on those poles on the left, and then crop it so you've just got 3 big, medium, small. And like you say, just cut it before that last chunk of ice there. There might be something cool and abstract in there. And if that was clean snow in the front there, but still lumpy like that, and you sort of work to sort of bring out all that detail in the sky, that might be something really cool. There's something about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Marcello Mandeli, the cat.
10 out of 10, man. It's a cat. You've got it.
Yeah,
you can't get better.
I would say we can probably move on just because it looks like the photographer saw the blue color of whatever this is, and then the light looks warm.
Yeah.
So you have.
It's the cat reflecting the blue light. He's glowing.
Yeah, but we don't have an actual.
He also looks very angry that he took this photo, just so you know.
Yeah, he's not. He didn't sign a model release.
Right now he's like, I told you not to upload it on Street Critique.
Yeah,
like,
I'm suing you. Yeah.
Christian Macchiella. This is stuff I see in my apartment a lot, and I always trace the shadows and see if I can take some interesting photos. So I like that someone focused on that. Yeah, I mean, we have a warm light below, and on the ceiling it looks like there's some cold light. Kind of strange to see them both coming from one direction. Maybe the glasses are tinted or yellow, or could be.
I could be wrong by saying this, but like, yeah, I think everybody on occasion when the sun sets gets a weird beam of light somewhere in their apartment. And the 2 ways that I always try to photograph it is amongst the entirety of the scene. Like I always pull back a little bit so you can see how that light is hitting the room. And then I try to photograph whatever it's actually touching closer to it. You know what I mean? Like I always put things, this feels like a medium, like a weird in-between space that I feel like I either want to see more or I want to get a lot closer to it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, either a bit more context to know where we are, or less and make it abstract.
Yeah.
Like darken the shadows maybe a lot more, so we only focus on the beam of light.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next was from Elvis Martinez. Maybe a self-portrait.
The sky's on fire.
I was about to say the same.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, I applaud the Photoshop work. It's a cool self-portrait. if it's a self-portrait, right?
I want LEDs in my shoes.
Yeah, that might be like the 3M material. You know, that reflective.
Yeah.
I mean, self-quarantine portrait maybe.
That's a solid quarantine portrait. I'll give him that. The trees in the background. It does look like the city's on fire. That could probably be just toned down just a little bit, but I dig it.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's obviously heavy process, but like I mean, if you do it with intention, I don't see a problem with it. I like the I like it. I like how punchy it is.
Yeah, I guess the one thing I could say is there is no reason to lose the amount of detail on that window light. Even if you and your back was a bit darker, you could turn down the exposure on that because we could still see those. We could still see the pattern there on the window. There's no reason to blow that out completely. So
yeah, and also like maybe a bit lighter on the vignette as well, and keep some of just dialing that highlight slider down overall would have given you a bit more of a balance, so you're not throwing stuff away. Yeah, but it's cool. And even like I think this shot, like I mean, it depends how far you want to go. It's super subjective, but like even toning that blue down a bit and just sort of keeping it slightly more natural. You could have sold this, and maybe you want the stylized look, and in which case totally ignore me. But there could be a really cool, like almost, you're sort of in cooler moonlight being lit by a cool light in the window behind you with a city in the background sort of thing. There could be a really natural version of this that would look cool as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the sky and the him and the blue light, they're like kind of fighting for attention, and maybe turning down the saturation of the blue light a little bit gives us better contrast, maybe. But yeah, I like it too. Okay, next one is another one from Ben Murray. Was it the same? No. Is this a cat or dog? Oh, I remember. This is he is often doing my weekly feedback stream on Twitch. He has an account. This is his cat and his dog, and he always goes out for a walk with both of them and takes photos of them.
That's
he
hilarious.
has a whole Instagram account just taking photos of his pets.
Hilarious.
It's amazing.
I was just getting ready to say this moment is all about this cat and the dog. Like, forget everything else going on in this photo. Can you zoom in there again?
Yeah, I can. Wait.
It's hilarious.
Almost like a movie scene right before the showdown.
And you got somebody lighting a cigarette in the background there too. It's a showdown.
Yeah, I don't know if it fits the theme. I mean, I like the moment, but the only warm color light I see is coming from the apartment above, which is not really the focus of the frame. Yeah, but you should definitely check him out. He has some really cool photos and also videos in his stories. It's so cool to see
if you're walking a cat and a dog and the cat's being walked off the leash. This is crazy. It's blowing my mind right now.
I know it's crazy, but yeah, no leash and okay. Next is from Peperoros. He's a loyal Twitch follower. What am I looking here? Maybe he can tell us what that is. First, I thought maybe this is a strawberry.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It looks like a little mini explosions going off and it's cracking. I wonder what it is. See the little crack on the left bottom hand side?
Yeah, maybe a strawberry and blue jelly.
Oh wait, he's posting something in the chat. Very out of focus image of a lamp and a huge lens flare. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
So such a weird lens flare. I mean,
super weird. I mean, yeah, the shutter speed's probably very low as well, right? So it's a little blurry, but I don't know. It's cool. It's cool.
Very creative. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Aaron Morgau. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
It's kind of interesting to see, like, out of all the photos we just saw, we come to a street photography photo and it feels so out of place.
Right.
It's all street photography channels, and we're like, oh, look at this lamp.
Yeah, right.
So funny.
All I would say. Sorry, Sean. Do you want to go first?
No, I mean, I think just if you wanted it to fit a little bit more with the theme, all you had to do was jack your temperature slider a little cooler, and your orange lights would have stayed orange, just slightly less, and that white light would have gone to blue. So you would have got, just with a temperature slider, you would have got more blue and like warm and cool out of that. Because at the moment, the white light's quite neutral. It's not really cold. It's just flat. It's like fairly down the middle.
Yeah, I would love to see the warm light being reflected more on the person in the frame, maybe being lit by the warm light, maybe standing in front of the cold light but being warm at the same time. I don't know. Yeah, but for me, I know the light is cold, or probably daylight temperature light, but doesn't look blue in the I mean, it doesn't need to look super blue, but I think I don't know what to say. Jason, anything to add? Otherwise, I will move on.
I mean, again, I guess I gotta say, every time I see a photo where I don't know what it's trying to say to me, I have to ask if the photographer knew why he photographed it. You know, like obviously there's some cold light, there's some warm light going on here, but this gesture with what's going on with this woman it doesn't really tell me a story. I'm not sure what the story is in this photo, and it makes me think whether or not the person asked themselves that question either. Yeah. So
it almost looks posed, but it is not, probably because she's walking, but she's standing there like almost posing for the camera. It looks a little bit weird, but I can see it's candid. Okay, I will move on to the next one. Man Leo, black and white.
Someone's trolling us.
We just have to trust that this was there was some warm blue light. Tom Photo, another loyal Twitch subscriber. Is he watching right now? Probably.
This is making me think we got to do a camera porn month, right? Like, that's a cool challenge. I mean, we got to do some quarantine stuff. So,
but I have to say, to give him some props here, he did this while I was streaming yesterday. He said, "Okay, let me do another shot," and then he quickly did this, uploaded it. So I don't know. It took him probably 5 or 10 minutes. So he did this while watching my stream. And
nice.
I think he used a blue bottle, like a glass bottle that was colored blue, and shot some light through the bottle to get blue light. Tom is saying, "Damn it, Sam," because I think he didn't want me to show it. That's fine. I like it.
I mean, I like the color contrast. This sort of stuff works super well for product. If you wanted to use a couple of lights instead of one light, but you want to separate them out, it's the same thing you use for like portraits. If you want to use a front and back light, if you want more separation, you throw a gel on one and you change the colors. So it really works. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit like with the whole product thing and the sort of the hanging the dangly lights in the background. I know lots of people do it. For me, it always just pulls my attention to bokeh balls in the background instead of what you want me to look at, and I always find them a distraction personally. Like if you want to shoot a product or something, you want to feature an item, feature the item. Don't hang too much stuff behind the item, in the bokeh that we end up looking at instead of what you want us to look at. But I do like the color separation on it. I think it works.
Question, do you think in particularly with this photo, the bokeh is a little condensed in that one space, and that's why it's pulling, like maybe if it was a little bit more spread out, it wouldn't be pulling us so much to that one direction? Because it's very tight.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. But for me, it's always, if you've got something in the background that's brighter than the product I'm looking at.
I see.
That's always a problem, because, I mean, it's just a human eye. When we look at an image, they've done those studies where they sort of map how we view images, and they track eye movement over images. And we're always drawn to like brightest thing in the image first, area of highest contrast and brightest colors. So when you're putting an image together, keeping those things in mind and drawing your viewer, walking your viewer through the image, the direction you want them to go, is always good. But on this image, I'm starting bottom left corner and working my way up to the camera, and you want me in at the camera and then looking around maybe. So yeah.
Okay,
gotcha.
Gotta speed up the process a little bit. So
cool.
Another one from Abby Rose. I saw this one yesterday already, and I think I was saying that for me it looks like one light source, and for me it's not really about the light here. I mean, how the light falls on the leaf looks beautiful, but the light is, I think, don't think the light is the main subject here. So moving on. Okay.
Scared to talk now. Gotta be fast.
I mean, usually we pick out photos we want to critique, and now we look at photos also that we will probably not even pick because they don't fall into the category of our theme. So
yeah, this doesn't seem to fall into the category. I mean, the blue light's coming through in the ice cream case, but the environment around seems to be a bit warmer, but it doesn't read that way, you know? But if you just waited a little bit longer, it would have been great to have this person look up at you just as they realize, because this posture and this gesture is really nice. I would have loved to see them just tilt their head and look into the camera. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, can't read that name. Looks like Arabic, maybe. Or Hebrew.
Yishlelende.
I mean, warm lights hitting the cactus, and
is there something in there's a spider in the center?
A spider?
Is that what that is?
Oh yeah, where is that?
I don't see a spider. You mean this?
Zoom in the middle, right there. What's that? What? Oh, okay.
It's like a lens refraction or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a bubble.
Yeah, it looks like a bubble. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just don't get the scene. It's a little chaotic. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
I guess, where do you want us to look? What's the subject here is a good question maybe to ask yourself. Not sure.
Yeah. Sorry guys, my internet seems to be slow.
It's all right. It's because you got that beautiful camera set up, sucking up all that internet.
We can skip this one because she explained it to me. She thought that the theme is just warm and cold, so you know it's springtime, but you have Christmas decorations. So I thought it was very clever and funny, but
it's pretty funny, yeah.
Okay, Amanda Gureka. For me, I see warm light, and then it's probably shot on film, and film does that sometimes, so it looks.
Yeah. I mean, I love the tones. I love the tones in this photo. I like what's going on in here. It feels really good. I just wish it was a portrait. I wish this person was like turned around looking at the camera, because the back isn't really doing much for me.
Yeah, the tones are lovely. I mean, the kind of gradient from those sort of bluey cyans, the oranges is really nice, very cinematic. But a little bit more, or context or something going on, or it would be nice.
Yeah, Miguel V. Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of scene I expected to see more of. Blue hour and warm artificial light coming from a store window, and I guess I like the atmosphere, the mood. Blue hour is always magical. The silhouette, not the silhouette. I mean, it's kind of a silhouette. The guy in the middle, it looks like he intentionally waited for him to be at that place, which I think is fine.
It's a half a second too just so he took one step too far.
Yeah, I was going to say the guy in the background is distracting from the guy in the foreground, or maybe if the guy.
But also the blocks. The reason why he kept those two blocks at the bottom in the frame is because I think he wanted to get that guy in between those two.
Oh.
Otherwise, they are just a bit of a distraction in the frame. They don't need to be there compositionally. But you know, it does execute the warm and cool. The composition for me isn't fully there yet. I would try to clean this up as much as possible. I don't know how you would do that in this scene. That background store is a little chaotic, as Sean was saying earlier. Those bright lights kind of pull your eyes, and then the subject in the middle is an afterthought because I keep going to the left and I keep going up to the right, and it's the last thing you see is this person in the middle. So it's not very clear again what the subject of the frame is.
Maybe we don't need people in this frame.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I like that it is divided the right side is blue and the left side is warm, yellowish.
Yep.
But maybe a little bit too chaotic. Okay, next is from Nate Rogers. I see light and shadow, and the shadow looks kind of bluish, but I don't know. I mean, it's a clean frame, not too distracting elements in the frame. Don't find it super interesting though, and I wouldn't say this fits the theme that well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. It's reaching there with those colors at the top.
Vivek Satya.
It's all warm.
Huh? It's all warm.
It's all warm.
Mm.
Nice frame though.
Nice idea, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is this the same guy that submitted the dude on the bike with all the neon
probably,
lights?
yeah. We had this one crazy, colorful guy on the bike once, and maybe it's the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very similar. Same focal length and everything.
Yeah, I think.
I don't think.
I mean, the light is probably blue. I like really blue. Otherwise, the clothes of this guy would be also blue. But it looks like I want to see more of the. Of this car.
I mean, it would have definitely fit into the theme, right? If they just backed up a little bit, because the street and everything around them is orange, and then the blue would have stood out so much more.
Yeah.
Rather than the blue being the focus, it would have just been like a nice piece that popped.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's an example of like, don't lift the shadows. Like if you put that, if you sort of weighted side on, and let them sort of pull up, let the background be quite dark, and then have those orange street lights in pools, maybe, for example, because I bet they are pooling. It's not flat like that when you look at it, and then a glowing blue underneath that, and let everything else be darker. I think you might have something really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But it's probably. I imagine this was probably shot with like an 80, something like an 80 millimeter, and that's probably why the crop is so awkward. This is passing by, and this might be the only thing that they could have pulled off. Otherwise, this is a kind of an awkward crop. But I'm not going to tell people what type of focal length to shoot. But this one, a 35, would have been probably a really, really cool, or even a 28 would have been a really cool image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Umut Street. Cold light. I would say it's cold light, but the light in the background doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the warmth.
Yeah, there's only a little hint of warm light here in the corner. Yeah, I don't see that many interesting elements that you can use to make. I mean, the car maybe isolated.
Well, again, it's one of those things where it's like we're not quite sure what the subject is, and if the Winnebago is the subject, then like, what about it? You know, like what? Like, does it have a broken glass window? Is the tire flat? Are there big old horns and it's in Texas? It's like those are the questions that it's like, why am I photographing this car in particular? You know, so if we can't answer that question as viewers, then you kind of got to really think about the image.
Yeah.
Or even the doorway, right? The doorway is kind of highlighted there.
Yeah. East Block Boy.
Another image. These tones are really beautiful. Sometimes metal at sunset, it just gives you all those really beautiful tones. You got the blue, some magentas going on there. It's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, but I can't see the light contrast here that much.
Well, the blue light is on the inside of that escalator, right? It almost seems like there's two different color lights on either side of it, the way that it's working.
You could sort of suggest that it's sort of lighting on the top of the rails is lighting the blue sky behind as well. But you're right, two separate light sources probably not. But yeah, the tones are nice.
Yeah.
Tones are very nice.
Great.
And also that there is a little, I suppose, it's interesting that the two lines of lights are different colors from each other. The bottom one's warmer than the top one.
It might be to signify up and down.
Maybe. Which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I dig it. I like the composition. I like the lines passing through.
Yeah, I didn't see it at first, but now that I see the different colors of light, yeah. Okay, we had this one before. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some color contrast going on here. There's yellow in the background. Yeah,
I like the tones in this too. The colors are reading. I don't know if I see warm light. I see like a red bridge that's painted with some blue, but I would have cropped the edges of this photo in and just kind of kept it with these red doorways. I feel like there's a lot going on in the photo, and compositionally it's not very pleasing.
Yeah,
maybe. Oops.
Like if she was just in it and it stopped to the right of her shoulder, right where the red stops, it could have been kind of a cool,
like a vertical crop, maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
Then seeing the reflection also a little bit stronger, maybe.
Yeah, and you've got, because it does turn to blue light down the end there, doesn't it? Or something. So it starts out red on this side and ends up at blue. Almost goes through a green in the middle, a little bit. Sort of like changing as it goes down is quite cool.
Yeah, cool spot. Austin Poon. Yeah, the colors are there. I don't feel like it's about the light though. I like how he hit the ice. Now he can, sell a print.
Cool.
Or use it for commercial use, maybe.
Sell aprons. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much to say here.
No, it's a cool photo, but I don't think it delivers on.
Okay.
I think this is getting to the end, yeah?
We should be... not quite, but... yeah, I don't know, it works. I would put in some more... I would crush the shadows a little bit to make it pop a little bit more.
Yeah, the shadows are a little airy. There's definitely contrast in the background there, but towards us, there's the foreground. There's not much contrast, which kind of makes the... I don't know.
Yep. I think this is... this is... how would you achieve this? Is this done in post, or maybe something happened to the film?
This looks like expired film or something, doesn't it? Yeah, but it's probably not. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy to see. Usually you have a green tint or a purple tint, right? But not two at the same time, and this looks like very orange.
Yeah.
So maybe it was done in post to create some contrast.
Maybe.
Okay, I will move on. Yeah. I mean, this is... I guess you can play with light, make it really abstract, have two different light sources, and look, maybe this is a beamer or projector.
Okay. I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know why I like it, but I like it. So there's something nice about it to look at. Like you say, it's super abstract.
Yeah.
But it's,
Okay. Can see who this is. Alberto Garcia. Yeah, I would say it. I think it fits the theme. If you look at it like from a distance, there are two colors very prominent in this frame, and that is a yellowish light and a bluish light. So the overall scene definitely works.
Yeah, they just didn't turn the saturation up on this, so it's more of a a lightly,
if
more finessed editing.
Boost up the saturation, we would probably see much more.
Yeah, because you can see even the cone is a little more washed out as well when those are way more high vis orange. Solid frame delivers.
Yeah, here I wasn't sure what to say here, because the blue tint on the wall is coming from the lights shining through the blanket here over him. So I don't know if this is counts as blue light. I mean, it's tinted light.
Well, I mean, what is obvious in this frame is that the photo is these two guys on opposite ends of the wall where it is blue and orange. Though it does look like they kind of painted in a bit more blue on the guy on the left. That seems unnatural, the way that it's coloring the brick.
Maybe.
But I do like these two opposing corners. In color.
And the fact that he's got the orange or the kind of reddy orange surface in front of him. I reckon there might be a nice shot in there with a vertical crop. Like if you vertically compose that with the two guys and stuck that corner down the middle and got rid of all that stuff on the left, which really isn't helping the shot. There might be a cool shot in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, some more light, no blue light.
Yep.
Sam's like,
yeah. I would love to see more scenes like this. Looking into other people's apartments, seeing like two different temperatures of light. Maybe someone watching TV. The room is, filled with blue light, and the other side maybe a warm light, like a family. I don't know, cuddling and.
That was Samuel telling you to go shoot into people's homes.
There's someone in the shower.
Go buy really long lenses and then shoot into people's homes.
Make sure to upload the censored version.
Yeah.
I don't know. I skipped through that. I don't know what else to say. It's. I think there's potential in this concept. I just find it a little bit unmotivated.
Well, it can't justify the right side of that frame, right? It's like, you got the blue light going on there, but there isn't really much happening on that right side for it to be part of this image. The whole image is on the left side, unless there's some action or gesture taking place on the right side there, which it looks like the tip of somebody's head. Maybe that's just something on the windowsill, but. Yeah, there really just has to be. It's like small people, you know what I mean? Like those big shots of windows, and you see all these little silhouettes doing their thing in their house. But unfortunately, that right side is a little too empty.
Yeah. Marcelo Guimares, I think he submitted earlier too. Yeah, because it's film, it's hard to say if this is really the cold light on the left side or just the film. Yeah.
Looks like it could be the tint from a window shield, car window. Yeah.
I'm not leaving. I'm just grabbing a battery pack because my iPad's about to die. Keep that.
Fresh Felix.
Oh, this is a cool one. I dig this.
Yeah.
Looks like a long exposure. Those windows are hauntingly glowing. See, this is kind of what we were talking about in that other frame where we were saying the person was kind of mimicking Todd Hito. Yeah. He let the blacks crush a little bit, which is totally fine. And now we get an actual vibe from those windows. They're glowing. They like actually come to life in this frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Dino Hafian. I think this is okay.
Huh.
2 more after that, so we're almost done. Someone jumped from that window or what?
I wonder if this is a self-portrait. If it is, I really, really dig it.
Someone was saying yesterday, this is Bello killing himself. I don't know why. It doesn't look like him, but
Dark.
yeah, very dark. But yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder why the window here seems to be open, and so it looks like it's connected, but it also looks a little bit staged. I hope it is staged.
I mean, it's definitely staged. This person is not homeless or sleeping. They like got nice clothes on. They just went outside. Even the pose that they're laying in is like, it looks like it's posed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you jumped out, you jumped out backwards, feet first, which is impressive.
Yeah.
Or he bounced really high.
And flipped. Yeah.
Okay, I will move on. Daniel Cho. I don't see it. If this would be later in the day, like during blue hour, it would probably bring out the colors more. Yeah. Okay, I'll move on. But it's an interesting scene because this is, lockdown, a photo about lockdown, right? Marcin, Storny. Yeah. I'm over laughing about lamp juxtapositions. So I'm only looking at the colors here and the light. I don't know, it feels a little bit unnatural. The lighting, like everything is blue.
Yeah, the blue's pushed quite. It's definitely pushed in post a little bit, isn't it? Unless it's lit like that, but it would be probably quite uncomfortable to be in there for very long because it would send your eyes crazy. I do love her jacket with that lamp. I think that works well together. Like I think that was a lucky get that she was sitting there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're right. All the rest, the other people, they don't have any colored jackets on, except that one green guy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, all right.
Can't say much.
Made it.
Yeah. Let's end it here.
I guess this is the part of the critique where we start, or which we've been doing customarily, letting the host come up with next month's
usually now
theme.
Once we are through.
I know it's a little on the spot, but you're usually 10 minutes ago we would have started putting the seed out there to.
Oh jeez, I've got to come up with the next.
If you have any ideas, I mean, you can go first.
I don't know what stuff you've had. I suppose it's got to be stuff you could do at home at the moment.
That would probably help some people.
Ideally, have you done some form of self-portrait thing?
No, we have not.
We did street selfie, right? We had where you have to be in your street shot, so it could be like a reflection or a shadow.
We did that?
Yeah, don't you remember?
This is number 13. It's been a year and a month.
Maybe self-portrait then. What do you think?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I could be into it. Is there anything in particular that you're working on right now that you feel like we could connect to a theme?
For other than self-portrait?
No, I really like self-portrait, but I'm just curious if maybe there was something that that you were working on right now. We could make it a little more closer to the vest for you.
At home at the moment, the stuff I did sort of shooting the flower phase, like pulling things out, just black and white contrast with a black background, one light, that kind of thing for a bit. Some macro stuff around that as well. I've been running around my house trying to find. It's interesting when you are stuck at home and you can't go out that you really start to notice what time of day the sunlight comes in and where it hits, like down to detail. And it's been fun to sort of shoot little corners of the house where light does something interesting and make it quite abstract. So that's been fun to play with. Yeah, other than that, at the moment I'm going through a thing with film. So I'm shooting my own film stuff at home and developing and scanning and stuff. So yeah, those are the things I'm playing with indoors at the moment. Yeah.
So like still life film?
No, I was taking portraits of my wife actually. So,
okay.
I've got a medium format, like a 6x6 TLR. I've got the big Fuji GW690, which is like a 6x9, and then just my Canon EOS 500, like an old, like a film SLR. So it just because I was going through trying to experiment with just different forms of black and white film stock to find one that worked for me, and then teach myself how to develop it. So that's been the last.
Is this the video you're going to post probably on Sunday?
Yeah. I did the first one last week, which was just the shoot side and the cameras. This Sunday will be how to develop the film yourself at home. And then, the last one, which will be next week Sunday, will be scanning and processing.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait for the developing video, because I need to learn that. I have everything I need. I'm scared to try it.
Yeah. It's really not that hard. It's just like baking. Just follow the instructions and it comes out fine. And black and white is much more forgiving than color when you're developing and stuff. I found it's got a lot of tolerance to it.
No. Have you tried a monobath?
No, not yet. People have recommended that and said at the moment I'm on the Ilfa Sol 3 and the Ilfa Stop. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I had the monobath back at the studio in New York, and I was doing that. It was super easy, but just like managing the film and scanning it became a problem. So
yeah.
Okay, so shall we do self-portrait?
All right, yeah, I'm into it.
I think
I can dig it.
People in the chat are happy about it. Oh, we can just say we do what we want. Usually we ask the viewers.
Should we say something like maybe like more of an environmental self-portrait, like your quarantine situation? Because people could just send like a little shoulder-up photo, which would be a little bit harder. I wouldn't mind playing around with environments in our spaces to get a photo.
Oh yeah, like you sitting in your space. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because then it would save us from getting some headshots, which would be hard to judge because it's just like, okay, it's just a face,
face. Don't like this guy.
So maybe make it a little bit narrative as well, sort of how you're spending your time at home at the moment. Something in an image that shows us how you're spending your time at home.
That would be cool. Yeah,
I dig that.
Because some people are maybe a little bit shy, showing themselves as a stage portrait.
Yeah. But this way you can get a little more obscure. You can cover your face, your body's in it. It shows your room. Maybe the light's coming in through the window, and we just see you sitting in. It's kind of cool.
No dick pics, please. Sorry, I have to say it just in case.
It's 2020. You got to say it. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we didn't have that happen, but we had some photos, trolling us. Nothing extreme though, luckily. Okay, I guess we have a theme. Wait for the updates tomorrow. I will update the website and everything, and then, like always, deadline will be end of April, and the real deadline will come up soon once we find a date. Any things you want to plug, Sean? You have a video coming up Sunday, but next IG Live or something like that?
I'm doing like sort of 2 a week at the moment, so if people are keen for those. They're really kind of loose, just an opportunity to listen to, some friends chatting about how we're dealing with this time and ways we're sort of trying to stay creative and ideas and interesting things that other people are doing as well. And you can jump on and ask questions as well. So that's over on my Instagram. Yeah.
Cool. Jason, any updates from you?
It's pretty simple. Working on something funny right now that's outside the realm of just street photography, but I just want to say thank you for everybody for submitting, and Sean being a part of this. I'm sure I speak for everybody that's in here. You're a big inspiration.
Yeah, thank you.
Love your channel.
Taking your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's great to have you in here. I'm sure everybody's happy that you got to jump in on the critiques today.
Cool.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Cool.
Hope you enjoyed this episode and see you soon for another episode. Okay. Bye, guys.